Hello everyone and welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine. And today we have a very weather-focused lesson. It's all about all the horrible things that can happen to you with the weather.
Exactly. So as you know, there are many different types of weather, and not only rain or sunshine, but many other phenomena. So we're going to take a look at some of those. But before we go into it, let's take a look at one word on Vocabulary Preview.
Vocabulary Preview.
Okay, so we're talking about extreme weather today. That's not rain or drizzle or sunshine. We're talking about really interesting, unique, and sometimes devastating things that can happen. So today's vocabulary word is Armageddon.
All right, so Armageddon. Now, you've probably seen the movie Armageddon. So what does this word mean?
Okay, so this word is a reference to the end of the world. It means the time when the world will end because of a great catastrophe or a great disaster.
Okay, so everyone talks about Armageddon. It's mentioned in the Bible. And as you say, it's when the world stops existing.
Exactly. So think about that one as we listen to today's dialogue. We will be back in a minute to talk about what's going on.
Those are the headlines for today. And now for the International Weather Report with Mike Sanderson.
Thank you, Bob. This past week has been the beginning of Armageddon for many, as a series of unprecedented meteorological events occurred around the world. In Switzerland, a major avalanche was reported in the Alps. Fortunately, no one was injured. Due to the extreme cold this winter, a blizzard has struck the U.S. Midwest, causing classes in schools and universities to be temporarily canceled. Moving on to Latin America, Ecuador has suffered a 6-month drought that has not only affected farming, but has also forced the closure of the hydroelectric power plant that provides electricity for the entire country. In Chile, a major earthquake that registered 7.5 on the Richter scale struck the southern region. Losses are reported to be in the billions. Authorities have not yet released an official statement.
Not a great week for the world. Any good news?
I'm afraid not, Bob. One of the major volcanoes in Mexico has erupted, causing major floods and landslides in the region. Meanwhile, Mexico's coast has been hit by Hurricane Liliana, and officials say that all the seismic activity leads them to believe that a tsunami may hit Central America, affecting Honduras, Guatemala, and Panama. That's all the news we have for today, but stay tuned for updates on the 6 o'clock news. Back to you, Bob.
All right, we're back. And, well, this weather report is not really far from the truth. I mean, this kind of stuff happens every day all over the world, right?
That's correct. And unfortunately, it's been happening very frequently in the past couple months. We've heard of a lot of earthquakes and volcanoes and things like that. So this is very valuable stuff when you're trying to talk about current events as well.
Okay. So why don't we start now analyzing a couple of different words and phrases on language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Well, the first vocabulary item we have here is meteorological event. It's a real mouthful. It's a long word.
Meteorological.
So, for example, meteorological means having to do with the weather, something that's related to the weather. So, a meteorological event could be rain, snow.
Okay, so it has to do with meteorology.
Meteorology is the study of the weather, and someone who does this is a meteorologist.
So usually the weathermen that you see on TV, they're meteorologists.
So let's go now to Marco, our resident meteorologist.
There we go.
Our resident meteorologist.
Right, okay. So meteorological events. Now moving on, one of the first events that we're going to look at is an avalanche.
Avalanche. An avalanche has to do with snow. This means that when a mountain that has a lot of snow on it, maybe part of that snow breaks off and starts to roll down, you have a wall of snow that comes down. That's an avalanche.
That's an avalanche.
So you could say, avalanche. And the snow comes down. And it's actually very dangerous because people can get buried under the snow.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so another event that has to do with snow is a blizzard.
Okay, a blizzard is different from an avalanche because an avalanche, maybe it's not snowing, the snow just falls. But in a blizzard, you're talking about a storm of snow.
But it's like a lot of snow coming down from the sky.
So much snow that you probably can't see anything. There's just white everywhere.
Okay. All right, so that's a blizzard. A lot of snow coming down from the sky. Now, moving on, the opposite of snow and things being wet is we have a drought.
Yeah, this is the opposite of wet, actually. So there's no rain in a drought. A drought means that things are very dry. The land is very dry.
Okay, so it's a period of time that there's no snow, there's no water, there's no rain, there's nothing. It's very, very dry. We're going through a drought.
Correct. And the problem with a drought is very dangerous is because people cannot grow food in a drought. And so lots of people starve when this happens.
Okay, so you got to watch out for a drought. Now, in this case, it not only affected farming, but also we have a hydroelectric power plant that can't work, obviously, because there's no water.
So hydro means water. Hydroelectric means electricity that is generated by flowing water. And so, for example, a mill, something that churns water on a river, is a way to get power from water. But
Right.
a hydroelectric project that can give you electricity is maybe like a dam or an electric mill.
Right. So usually you have these on rivers and they just take advantage of the flowing of water to turn some huge turbines and generate power. So that's all we have for now. Why don't we listen to the dialogue again? And we'll be back shortly to take a look at some more words.
Those are the headlines for today. And now for the International Weather Report with Mike Sanderson.
Thank you, Bob. This past week has been the beginning of Armageddon for many, as a series of unprecedented meteorological events occurred around the world. In Switzerland, a major avalanche was reported in the Alps. Fortunately, no one was injured. Due to the extreme cold this winter, a blizzard has struck the U.S. Midwest, causing classes in schools and universities to be temporarily canceled. Moving on to Latin America, Ecuador has suffered a 6-month drought that has not only affected farming, but has also forced the closure of the hydroelectric power plant that provides electricity for the entire country. In Chile, a major earthquake that registered 7.5 on the Richter scale struck the southern region. Losses are reported to be in the billions. Authorities have not yet released an official statement.
Not a great week for the world. Any good news?
I'm afraid not, Bob. One of the major volcanoes in Mexico has erupted, causing major floods and landslides in the region. Meanwhile, Mexico's coast has been hit by Hurricane Liliana, and officials say that all the seismic activity leads them to believe that a tsunami may hit Central America, affecting Honduras, Guatemala, and Panama. That's all the news we have for today, but stay tuned for updates on the 6 o'clock news. Back to you, Bob.
Well, a word that many people are unfortunately familiar with is Richter or Richter scale. And now this is something that a lot of people are talking about right now because of the earthquake in Sichuan, China last year, and the earthquake in Haiti very recently. And so the Richter scale, that's a big R because it's a proper name, is a way for us to determine how severe, how big the earthquake was.
Right, so people talk about a 6.0, a 7.1, so that's on the Richter scale.
The lowest is 0 and the highest is 10, correct?
Right, but 10 is like impossible, apparently.
Apparently, and a lot of them are actually underwater, but the very serious ones are maybe 8.0, 7.0.
All right, so Richter scale. Now, we talked about earthquakes, we talked about snowing. Now, let's talk about a volcano. A volcano in Mexico has erupted.
Okay, so we've got two words here, volcano. A volcano is a mountain that has an opening in the center where lava from the middle of the earth, the center of the earth, can come out. So it's very dangerous, obviously, because it's very hot.
Right.
But a volcano doesn't open, it erupts. So the verb here that we use with a volcano is to erupt.
Okay, so it doesn't explode, a volcano erupts.
That means to open violently, very quickly.
Okay, so when this happens, obviously you have a lot of lava, you have maybe snow that melts, and you have floods and landslides.
Okay, landslides. A landslide is one word, but it's made up of two words that you probably already know. So land, obviously, it's the ground and
the
things
earth.
like that, the earth. But a slide is to move down across the ground. And so a landslide happens when you've got something like lava or water that's pushing all of the earth, all of the ground down, and it's destroying houses and trees and land, and it's very, very destructive.
Right. So you usually see this that happens on the side of mountains or on the side of hills where all that land starts to slide down or to go down. And it's very similar to an avalanche, right? But instead of snow falling down, it's land.
Mud and land.
Mud, yeah. All right. So we have a landslide. And because of all the eruptions and the earthquakes, they said that they have a lot of seismic activity.
This word seismic is something that I've heard a lot recently in movies like 2012.
Yeah.
So seismic means having to do with the movement of the plates under the Earth's crust. So, you know, the Earth is not everything that we see. It's also activity, things happening underneath the ground.
Right.
And so underneath the ground, we have these big plates, and seismic activity is what happens when these kind of things start to move. Activity is movement. And so seismic activity refers to earthquakes and volcanoes, things that are changing under the ground that will affect us.
Okay. So that's seismic activity. It's pronounced seismic, right?
Seismic, that's
Seismic.
correct.
Okay. And because of all this activity, people say that they may have a tsunami.
Well, this doesn't sound very English, does it?
I know, tsunami. And actually, if you see the spelling, it's with a T, T-S.
Right, I think it's a Japanese word, but I'm not
I
positive.
think so too.
Tsunami is the name that we give to a giant tidal wave. So that's a wave of water in the ocean that's very, very dangerous because it can get to 100, 200 feet tall. And this means that when it comes down, it can destroy houses, cities, cars, things like that.
Right.
And there was a very, very famous tsunami in Southeast Asia in 2004. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and in Indonesia, right?
That's right, in Indonesia and Thailand and Vietnam.
Yeah, it was intense. It was big. And it was also because of an earthquake, right?
I think so. All these earthquakes, they move the earth around, and then all of a sudden the reaction is that there's water that moves,
This
and the water
huge wave.
then turns into a wave.
Yeah, just imagine what happens if you have a bucket of water and then you start moving the bucket just a little bit and you see how water starts to splat all over the place.
That's right.
All right, so tsunami was our last word for today. Why don't we listen to our dialogue again, and we'll be back shortly.
Those are the headlines for today. And now for the International Weather Report with Mike Sanderson.
Thank you, Bob. This past week has been the beginning of Armageddon for many, as a series of unprecedented meteorological events occurred around the world. In Switzerland, a major avalanche was reported in the Alps. Fortunately, no one was injured. Due to the extreme cold this winter, a blizzard has struck the U.S. Midwest, causing classes in schools and universities to be temporarily canceled. Moving on to Latin America, Ecuador has suffered a 6-month drought that has not only affected farming, but has also forced the closure of the hydroelectric power plant that provides electricity for the entire country. In Chile, a major earthquake that registered 7.5 on the Richter scale struck the southern region. Losses are reported to be in the billions. Authorities have not yet released an official statement.
Not a great week for the world. Any good news?
I'm afraid not, Bob. One of the major volcanoes in Mexico has erupted, causing major floods and landslides in the region. Meanwhile, Mexico's coast has been hit by Hurricane Liliana, and officials say that all the seismic activity leads them to believe that a tsunami may hit Central America, affecting Honduras, Guatemala, and Panama. That's all the news we have for today, but stay tuned for updates on the 6 o'clock news. Back to you, Bob.
So, Marco, these are all pretty terrifying. Have you ever experienced a meteorological event like one of the ones that we talked about today?
I've actually lived it through like 3 earthquakes, like pretty big ones.
Well, that's because you used to live in Los
In
Angeles.
LA. Yeah. So we get them all the time in LA. Apart from that, I've seen a volcano erupt a couple of times because, you know, Ecuador is part of the volcano alley, right? It's all the Andes Mountains, and it's part of the Circle of Fire, what they call. So we have a couple of different active volcanoes, and from time to time they will start to smoke or to spew some lava, but nothing major. Like, there hasn't been a major catastrophe with the volcanoes. Hopefully it won't either.
Well, and these days they have a lot of equipment, seismic equipment and meteorological equipment that can help meteorologists to determine when things will happen, like when a volcano will erupt or if there will be an earthquake, because they can study the tremors in the ground.
Right. Yeah, and I think probably the most famous volcano is, I think it was in Italy, right? Mount Vesuvius.
That's right. So you've got Mount Vesuvius in Naples, which famously destroyed a number of cities in this ancient civilization and ancient
What is a
Roman
major
times.
eruption?
It was, and what's amazing is that they still have a lot of the buildings
Underground,
under
right?
the ash.
Wow.
Because when all the ash settled, it preserved the bodies like a mummy.
That's
and so you
crazy.
can see the bodies and the things that they, their jewelry and their money, and it's fascinating because it's this horrible, horrible natural disaster actually helped us in the future learn about this old civilization.
Yeah. It's crazy. Actually, in Ecuador, you can see a huge hole that has like a lake in the middle. And you're like, oh, wow, that's beautiful. But that's actually caused because the entire mountain just kind of blew the top off, like the cone, because of this major eruption. So you can just imagine how
Wow.
powerful these eruptions are. I can just imagine what it would have been like Mount Vesuvius. But anyway, on a brighter note, if you have any questions, any comments, or any stories of your own, maybe you've lived through a typhoon, a hurricane, a tornado, you can come to our website, englishpod.com.
We hope to see you there.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Great snow. Blizzard. A prolonged period of scanty rainfall. Drought. A very big rain and windstorm. Hurricane. A large sea wave produced by an earthquake. Tsunami. Something relating to or caused by an earthquake. Seismic activity. Let's try that faster. A very big rain and windstorm. Hurricane. A prolonged period of scanty rainfall. Drought. Something relating to or caused by an earthquake. Seismic activity. Great snow. Blizzard. A large sea wave produced by an earthquake. Tsunami. Now say the word and hear it in a sentence. Blizzard. With the blizzard came strong gusts of wind, freezing temperatures, and near zero visibility because of all the blowing snow. Blizzard. The blizzard warning will remain in effect until tomorrow morning, when the winds will die down to about 30 kilometers per hour. Blizzard. If you really need to venture out into that blizzard with your car, you are going to have to go at a crawl because of the near whiteout conditions and the danger of drifting. Drought. The lack of rain in the spring and the above average temperatures caused a drought in the late summer. Drought. We have to start conserving water because of the drought. Drought. For about half a decade in the 1930s, the prairies in Canada and the United States experienced a severe drought, during which there were numerous dust storms, and the land became a wasteland. Hurricane. Several mudslides occurred in this region shortly after the hurricane passed through. Hurricane. North Atlantic hurricanes are formed off the tip of Africa, build as they travel across the Atlantic Ocean, and then finally hit the Caribbean and the southern United States at full force. Hurricane. The weather became very calm all of a sudden, and we knew that the eye of the hurricane was passing over us. Seismic activity. He measured the earthquakes using a seismograph and noticed the increase in seismic activity. Seismic activity. Seismic activity can cause new land masses to form and the destruction of others. Seismic activity. The seismic activity caused earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and multiple tsunamis. Tsunami. When there is a massive earthquake on the ocean floor, a lot of water is displaced, forming a tsunami as this water travels towards land. Tsunami. The Indian Ocean tsunami in 2004 was caused by one of the largest earthquakes ever recorded. Tsunami. She looked out over the land, still flooded in areas by water left by the tsunami that had ravaged her home just days before.
Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And my name is Catherine. So, Marco, you've been shopping a lot lately.
I have, and this dialogue or this lesson today is one of my favorite pieces of furniture, maybe appliances that I've bought recently, and it's a TV.
All right, so I'd even go for electronics with that one. The electronics department is somewhere you like to hang out.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, I think every guy loves, like a big screen TV and a home theater system, so you just like go deaf after watching.
Yeah, why is that? Is bigger really better when it comes to like a 70-inch TV?
Well, I don't know. I think, the whole experience of just seeing this movie on this huge TV and like having all the sound, and I don't know, it's just something about that. Or watching a football game with your buddies and you can actually watch. Yeah.
Okay, that I can appreciate. But we've got a couple of great words for you we're going to preview in today's vocabulary preview.
Vocabulary preview.
Okay, so on vocabulary preview today, we're going to be looking at two words. The first one is to appreciate.
All right, so this basically means to like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you appreciate someone. But in this context, to enjoy or take advantage of something. So
maybe you hear this with a couple, two people who are fighting, and the girl says to the guy, "You don't appreciate me."
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't really care about her in the way that she wants him to. Or you could say this about a TV, for example. "I can't appreciate my PS3, my great, awesome console, my gaming system, because my TV's not good enough.
Or big enough.
Or big enough. Or big enough. So this means that it could be a lot better if I just bought a better TV.
Right. And if you buy a better TV, then you basically are upgrading or to upgrade.
Okay, so this verb, to upgrade, means to go from something that's okay to something that's better.
Exactly. So in previous lessons, we've seen to get a complimentary upgrade, for example, on a flight or in a hotel.
I like that. Well, you can also get an upgrade on a computer. You say, well, my computer's from 1994. I really need to get an upgrade.
Yeah, for sure. So to upgrade. Now, we're going to be listening to this dialogue for the first time. We're going to be buying a TV. So let's listen.
Seriously, I don't know why we need to get a new TV.
Honey, I told you already. I can't appreciate the graphics level and detail of the games on my PlayStation 3 on our old TV.
Good afternoon, folks. How can I be of service today?
I'm looking to upgrade to a newer, bigger television set.
You've come to the right place. What size are you looking for?
Just a normal-sized TV for our living room.
I see. Well, this set here is on sale. It's a 46-inch HT TV screen and it has all the works. 3 HDMI connectors, USB, VGA, and S-video ports. It even has a DVI port so you can hook up your PC or laptop. This is without a doubt the complete home theater experience.
This is exactly what I need. Can you imagine watching movies or playing video games on this thing?
Honey, I think it's a bit too big. I don't even think it will fit in our living room.
Not to worry, we will deliver and install it in your home. It comes with a wall mount so you can just hang it on the wall like a picture.
This is great. How much will this set me back?
Lucky for you, this is the last one we have in stock, so it's half off.
I'll take it.
All right, so I'm going to have to defer to you, Marco, on some of these words in today's language takeaway because they're all about TV specifics.
Language takeaway.
All right, the first word that we're going to be looking at is graphics, the graphics level.
All right, so you might have heard this before with the phrase graphic designer, someone who designs images. But in this case, we're talking about graphics, so the way things appear on your TV.
So like basically the pictures, right? So he wanted to appreciate the graphics of his PlayStation 3 better, and that's why he wanted a new TV.
All right, we could say, my computer has amazing graphics. It means games are really fun because they look good.
Or this game has amazing graphics, so the game has, places or scenery that looks really, really real.
All right, so graphics. But some kinds of TVs are made to provide those wonderful graphics, and those are called HD TV.
Right, an HD TV, or that's an acronym for high definition television.
All right, and I heard some actors and actresses were complaining about HD TV because the picture quality is so good that you can see all of the little problems on their face, the little
The
wrinkles and the pimples and the scars. So be careful because one day we're going to be able to see way too much.
Exactly. So on high definition television, that's basically what you get is better definition, better level of graphics.
So more pixels per inch. You can see a lot more clarity.
Right. So an HD TV.
The next thing we're talking about is actually kind of related to the back part of your TV where you plug things in. Sometimes it's on the side, sometimes it's on the back. Well, there are different names for different kinds of plugs. So today we're going to talk about two of those. One of them is USB.
Right. This TV has a USB port, which basically stands for Universal Serial Bus.
All right. So a port is a place where you plug something in. Your computer has a lot of ports as well. But USB is maybe more common for people who have iPods or computers because this is how we normally connect things to our computers.
So in this case, this television, you could connect maybe your iPod and reproduce videos or pictures onto the TV.
Awesome. Or in the second case, we have a DVI port. So DVI, you're going to have to tell me about this one, Marco, because I'm not so sure.
Well, a DVI is basically a digital video input. So basically you can connect your computer to the TV and see what's on your screen.
Nice. And so if you have a bunch of movies stored on your computer, you can just plug it into the TV and watch.
Or you can even navigate the internet on a big screen TV.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So what are these 3 HDMI connectors?
All right. Well, this is a new technology. Basically, you know how before you used to get your DVD player, your VHS, and you had 3 cables, 2 for sound and 1 for video?
Yeah, the red, yellow, and white cables.
Exactly. So with this new type of cable or technology, with 1 cable, it takes all the information to the TV. So just 1 cable for everything.
Oh, nice. Because my problem is I always used to put the wrong cable in the wrong port. So I'd have the red cable in the yellow port. And then I'd say, where's the video? I can't see. All I can do is listen.
Yeah, it happens. So with this, now it's easy. And well, it's a little bit more organized because I remember I used to have a TV and I had a lot of different things connected to it. It was just this big spider web in the back with all these cables. So an HDMI, high definition multimedia interface connector. And what else do we have?
Well, the last thing we're talking about is actually the place to put your TV. So a lot of people now are putting their TVs on walls like paintings because these TVs are so thin. So we call this a wall mount.
So a mount. To mount something is also a verb, right?
Yeah, it means to put something up or to hang something up. So many people like to mount their trophies to show off.
Very good. So this is what we're doing with the TV. We're going to mount it on the wall like a painting.
Cool. So those are our words for language takeaway. Let's take another listen to today's dialogue, but we're going to slow it down this time and really figure out what's going on. Seriously, I don't know why we need to get a new TV.
Honey, I told you already. I can't appreciate the graphics level and detail of the games on my PlayStation 3 on our old TV.
Good afternoon, folks. How can I be of service today?
I'm looking to upgrade to a newer, bigger television set.
You've come to the right place. What size are you looking for?
Just a normal-sized TV for a living room.
I see. Well, this set here is on sale. It's a 46-inch HT TV screen and it has all the works. 3 HDMI connectors, USB, VGA, and S-video ports. It even has a DVI port so you can hook up your PC or laptop. This is without a doubt the complete home theater experience.
This is exactly what I need. Can you imagine watching movies or playing video games on this thing?
Honey, I think it's a bit too big. I don't even think it will fit in our living room.
Not to worry, we will deliver and install it in your home. It comes with a wall mount so you can just hang it on the wall like a picture.
This is great. How much will this set me back?
Lucky for you, this is the last one we have in stock, so it's half off.
I'll take it.
All right, so now we're going to be taking a look at 3 different phrases that we saw in this dialogue in Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
All right, this first phrase is definitely one that I use a lot. We can talk about food, we can talk about electronics, we can talk about most different things, but the phrase here is the works.
He's getting the works.
All right, that means any option he could get, any possibility, he wants it all.
Right, so if you're getting a new car, for example, right? You're getting the high definition sound system, you're getting nice tires, leather seats, you're getting the works.
All right, or if you're getting a hamburger and you want the works, you're getting it with cheese and lettuce and tomato and pepper and bacon. And, it means every option, you're getting it all.
The works. So I think this word is so versatile that we should maybe listen to some more examples.
Example 1.
The bridegroom was wearing a morning suit, top hat, gloves, the works.
Example 2.
He spent over $10,000 on his home theater system. He got all the works.
Example 3.
I bought a new car with all the works. Magnesium rims, custom paint, and leather seats.
So now that we've seen the works on the home theater system, he needs to hook it up.
All right, so this is an important part and a very exciting part of a new purchase. So when you buy something, you have to hook it up. That means you have to plug things together. Okay, so we plug things into the wall for electricity, but also hook up maybe those cords you were talking about earlier, that HDMI connector, that's called hooking up or connecting.
So you would hook up your DVD player to your television.
All right, I could ask you, did you hook up those new speakers to your big TV yesterday?
Very good, right?
All
so
right.
to connect. It's another way of saying to connect.
And finally, the big event when you're buying something is the end, when you have to actually pay. And this guy is a little bit worried that the things he wants cost a lot of money. So he asks a really great question.
Yeah, he said, how much will this set me back?
Okay, this sounds a little weird at first because you could just say, how much will this cost? But he's speaking in a very colloquial way, very familiar. And he says, how much will this set me back?
Right.
So how much will this cost me?
So how much am I actually going to spend? So it's just a different way of saying how much does it cost. But it's, like you say, more colloquial. It's a lot more native-like.
Exactly. And so if you're writing your paper, you don't want to write this, this will set you back $500 in economics, but we'd say this in spoken language in our normal daily lives with friends.
So why don't we listen to a couple more examples of set me back?
Example 1.
This unexpected expense is going to set us back a couple $1,000s.
Example 2.
That fancy dinner at the restaurant last night really set us back.
Example 3.
I feel guilty about buying this coat. It set me back over $300.
All right, great. So now that we've taken a look at those great phrases and with some good examples, why don't we listen to this dialogue one last time?
Seriously, I don't know why we need to get a new TV.
Honey, I told you already. I can't appreciate the graphics level and detail of the games on my PlayStation 3 on our old TV.
Good afternoon, folks. How can I be of service today?
I'm looking to upgrade to a newer, bigger television set.
You've come to the right place. What size are you looking for?
Just a normal-sized TV for our living room.
I see. Well, this set here is on sale. It's a 46-inch HT TV screen and it has all the works. 3 HDMI connectors, USB, VGA, and S-video ports. It even has a DVI port so you can hook up your PC or laptop. This is without a doubt the complete home theater experience.
This is exactly what I need. Can you imagine watching movies or playing video games on this thing?
Honey, I think it's a bit too big. I don't even think it will fit in our living room.
Not to worry, we will deliver and install it in your home. It comes with a wall mount so you can just hang it on the wall like a picture.
This is great. How much will this set me back?
Lucky for you, this is the last one we have in stock, so it's half off.
I'll take it.
Okay, so a big TV, I think it's just a great thing to have at home. Not to, spend too much time in front of the TV, but it's good to sit down and watch a movie.
It's nice because, now there's so many different things you can do with it. You can hook up your computer, you can buy a projector, you can play your PS3 or your Wii. So I think there's a lot to do, and it's just wonderful how great graphics have come in just like the last 5 years.
What do you think about having a television set, for example, in the bathroom?
I would say it's a really bad idea, but I think if I have a bathtub, I think it'd be really cool.
What about, some people don't like having a television set in their bedroom.
I agree with this.
Why?
I agree. Because I think it's really important that you have peace and quiet in your bedroom, because it's kind of like, for me, it's an important space where I can just relax and be quiet. And I like reading a lot. So if I have a TV, maybe I'll watch more TV, but I'd much rather read a book before bed.
True. Yeah, I definitely agree. But, I've seen people that have TVs in their living rooms, in their dining rooms, even in their kitchen. So they're watching something while they're cooking. And even in the bathroom, like you say, in a bathtub, well, it's nice, but some of them I've seen in front of the toilet or something like that.
No. Well, I would say that the one in the kitchen is nice because if you spend a lot of time in the kitchen, you can watch the news while you're cooking, or you can actually watch cooking shows and try and practice.
Or soap operas.
Ooh, or soap operas. So I guess it depends on the person. It depends on how much you watch TV. But I'm curious to know what our listeners have to say about TVs and big electronics purchases.
Right. So come to our website, englishpod.com. If you have any questions or any doubts regarding the lesson or any suggestions, you can let us know.
Otherwise, we'll be there to just talk and practice that English. And of course, send us your suggestions for future lessons. We love to know what you're interested in learning about.
All right. We'll see you guys there.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. A machine for projecting an image onto a screen or other surface.
Projector.
To be grateful for something.
Appreciate.
To connect an appliance to an electrical outlet.
Plug-in.
Get something better, more modern, or more useful.
Upgrade.
A device that converts electrical signals into sounds loud enough to be heard at a distance.
Speaker.
A device used to control an apparatus or machine from a distance.
Remote control.
A television service in which the subscriber's television is connected to a central receiver by cable.
Cable television.
Cost.
Set me back.
To connect.
Hook up.
The best things offered.
The works.
Let's try that faster. To be grateful for something.
Appreciate.
A device that converts electrical signals into sounds loud enough to be heard at a distance.
Speaker.
The best things offered.
The works.
A machine for projecting an image onto a screen or other surface.
Projector.
Get something better, more modern, or more useful.
Upgrade.
A television service in which the subscriber's television is connected to a central receiver by cable.
Cable television.
To connect.
Hook up.
A device used to control an apparatus or machine from a distance.
Remote control.
To connect an appliance to an electrical outlet.
Plug-in.
Cost.
Set me back.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Appreciate. With a telescope, you can really appreciate the brightness of the stars. Appreciate. I really appreciate your help during these tough times. Appreciate.
Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we're bringing you another great lesson about sports, part of our sports series.
That's right. And in this lesson, we are talking about maybe the world's most
favorite sport.
Right, one of the most popular sports in the world, soccer, or also known as football in other countries.
Yes.
Okay, so before we get started with this great lesson, let's take a look at some of the words we'll find in the dialogue in Vocabulary Preview.
Vocabulary Preview.
We're going to look at 3 words here. The first word is wingman.
Wingman.
A wingman.
Now, wingman isn't really related to soccer in any way.
Okay.
But it's a way of referring to somebody as your right hand.
So your helper.
Your helper, your number one guy.
Okay.
Right?
So a wingman is someone who helps you a lot.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Okay. Our next word, tide.
Tide.
They are tied.
They are tied. Now, this is an interesting word because tie can be a noun, verb, and an adjective, right?
Exactly. So in this case, they are tied. It's an adjective meaning...
They have the same score.
Okay. And a tie is...
Is a game that has ended with no winner or loser. Both of them had the same score.
Exactly. And so obviously the verb to tie is to reach the same score as your other team.
Exactly.
All right, well, our third word can also be used as a noun and a verb, and it is foul.
Fouled.
Fouled.
Okay, so to foul somebody
is to do something to them that is not allowed in the sport.
Okay. And so when you do this, you have committed a foul.
Exactly.
Okay, so you use it in the same way, to foul or a foul. Interesting.
Well, we're going to hear these 3 words in context now. So why don't we listen to our soccer dialogue?
Welcome back, soccer fans. My name is Rick Fields, and as always, I am joined by my commentating wingman, Bob Copeland.
And we're on the brink of soccer history today, as Ecuador and Brazil are tied 1-1 as we begin the second half of the 2022 World Cup.
The ref calls the players for the kickoff, and here we go. Ecuador quickly passes the ball to the midfield, but it's out of bounds.
That'll be a throw-in for Brazil. Adriano has the ball and makes a long pass to Robinho, and the ref has called him offside.
No question about it, he was offside by a mile. We have a goal kick for Ecuador. Edison Mendez heads it to Valencia. He shoots. Deflected by the defender, and we have a corner kick.
Delgado takes the corner. We have a foul. Oh no, Dida, the goalkeeper, has fouled the Ecuadorian player. He gets a yellow card, and that will be a penalty kick.
This is the perfect opportunity for Ecuador to get ahead in this match and become world champions. He gets ready for the kick, he shoots, and he...
Okay, so Ecuador tied with Brazil in the 2022 World Cup.
Wow, Marco, I'm really happy to see that you are able to see so far into the future.
Well, I called it. So in 2022, if we do win the World Cup, you know who said it first.
All right. Do you have money on that?
Yes. All right. So apart from this, we saw some really great vocabulary in this lesson. So let's take a look at it now in Language Takeaway.
Language Takeaway.
All right, we've got a lot of soccer words for you, but they're all important. So let's take a look at the first one. Kickoff.
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 So a kickoff.
This is how you start a soccer game, right?
Right. So it's the very beginning, the referee blows the whistle, and you kick the ball to another player. That's the kickoff.
Okay. So our next phrase, out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Okay. Out of bounds. This is a great word.
So in soccer, when the ball goes out of bounds, it goes outside the white lines, right?
Outside of the playing field.
Okay.
And you can use it in all other sports. You can use it in basketball. You can use it in tennis.
Or football or anything.
Right. So any part that is not for playing.
Out of bounds.
What's our next word?
Throw in.
A throw in.
A throw in.
Okay. So a throw in. The ball goes out of bounds.
Uh-huh.
How do you put it back into play?
Obviously, a throw in.
Okay, so you throw in the ball. That's the only time where a soccer player will actually grab the ball with his hands.
All right, now another soccer term we have here, offside.
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 Okay, so this is a little bit difficult to explain, but just imagine you're on the soccer field and you are trying to score a goal.
Okay.
Now, you have some defenders, right?
Right.
Those are the people who are trying to take the ball away. And you pass the ball to somebody who is behind the defenders.
Oh, and that person is offside.
Exactly. So you must be at all times in the same position as the defenders or in front of them, but you can't be all the way in the back.
Okay, so is this a noun or a verb or an adjective?
So this is an adjective. He is offside. That's his condition.
Okay, great. Excellent explanation, Marco. Thank you.
All right.
Now we're going to look at 3 different phrases for 3 types of kicks in soccer.
Okay, so let's take a look at this. The first one is goal kick.
A goal kick.
Okay, goal kick.
So who does the goal kick?
It's usually the goalie or the goalkeeper
All right.
who takes the goal kick.
Okay, so when the goalie kicks the ball. Now, what about a corner kick?
Okay, so if the team is attacking and the ball goes out of bounds in the back area near the goal, then they get a corner kick. They got to kick the ball from the corner of the field.
This is a great chance to score a goal, isn't it?
Exactly, yes.
Okay, and our final kick, a penalty kick.
Penalty kick.
Penalty kick.
So if a player gets fouled while he is in the area near the goal,
Okay.
he gets a penalty kick. So basically it's just him. I think it's 13 or 15 steps away from the goalie, and he gets the opportunity to score or to kick the ball.
So there are no defenders or other players in the way.
Nobody.
Wow, another great chance to score a goal.
Right.
All right, well, these are all great soccer words, and I think we should hear them again in context. So let's listen, this time a little bit slower.
Welcome back, soccer fans. My name is Rick Fields, and, as always, I am joined by my commentating wingman, Bob Copeland.
And we're on the brink of soccer history today, as Ecuador and Brazil are tied 1-1 as we begin the second half of the 2022 World Cup.
The ref calls the players for the kickoff, and here we go. Ecuador quickly passes the ball to the midfield, but oh, it's out of bounds.
That will be a throw-in for Brazil. Adriano has the ball and makes a long pass to Rubinho, and the ref has called him offside.
No question about it. He was offside by a mile. We have a goal kick for Ecuador. Edison Mendez heads it to Valencia. He shoots. Deflected by the defender, and we have a corner kick.
Delgado takes the corner. We have a foul. Oh no. Dida, the goalkeeper, has fouled the Ecuadorian player. He gets a yellow card, and that will be a penalty kick.
This is the perfect opportunity for Ecuador to get ahead in this match and become world champions. He gets ready for the kick. He shoots. And he...
All right, so we heard these words that we were talking about in context, and now some really interesting phrases came up, and this would be a good time to take a look at them in Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
Well, Marco, there are 3 great phrases in this dialogue that I want to look at. The first one, on the brink of.
We are on the brink of.
We're on the brink of soccer history.
Okay, so on the brink of, what is it? What exactly does that mean?
Well, why don't we hear some examples to help us understand the meaning?
Example 1.
Look, we don't have any money. We're on the brink of going bankrupt.
Example 2.
The 2 countries are on the brink of war.
Example 3.
We're on the brink of an important discovery.
All right, so great examples. On the brink of, at a critical point.
Exactly. It means you're almost there, right?
Okay, yeah, very good. And what about this next phrase that I saw, and it was really interesting? No question about it.
No question about it.
No question about it.
No question about it.
All right, so this is a statement that doesn't really make much sense. But what am I saying when I say, oh, no question about it?
You're saying, I agree. There is no doubt. You're right.
You're right. Okay.
Well, let's give some examples. I could say, there's no question about it. Ecuador is a great soccer team.
There is no question about that. All right. So, or you can say, no question about it. Our company makes the best products on the market.
Okay. So, really useful phrase that you can use in sports or anywhere else.
Okay. And now let's take a look at our last phrase for Fluency Builder, and it's a really good one to exaggerate a little bit.
Okay.
By a mile.
By a mile.
By a mile.
So he was offside by a mile.
Right. So the commentator is saying that he was very offside.
That it was really obvious.
Right. So you can use that also in different contexts, maybe not in sports.
Okay. So maybe we can say our company is ahead of all the others by a mile.
Right. Or if you tell somebody to guess your age and they say, oh, I think you are 42.
Oh, you could say you're off by a mile.
Right.
So you're really, really wrong.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a way of exaggerating a little bit.
Yes, and saying it's really obvious.
Right.
Well, 3 awesome phrases, and I think it will help us to hear them one more time. So let's listen to the dialogue.
Welcome back, soccer fans. My name is Rick Fields, and as always, I am joined by my commentating wingman, Bob Copeland.
And we're on the brink of soccer history today as Ecuador and Brazil are tied 1-1 as we begin the second half of the 2022 World Cup.
The ref calls the players for the kickoff, and here we go. Ecuador quickly passes the ball to the midfield, but it's out of bounds.
That'll be a throw-in for Brazil. Adriano has the ball and makes a long pass to Robinho. And the ref has called him offside.
No question about it. He was offside by a mile. We have a goal kick for Ecuador. Edison Mendez heads it to Valencia. He shoots. Deflected by the defender, and we have a corner kick.
Delgado takes the corner. We have a foul. Oh no, Dida, the goalkeeper, has fouled the Ecuadorian player. He gets a yellow card, and that will be a penalty kick.
This is the perfect opportunity for Ecuador to get ahead in this match and become world champions. He gets ready for the kick, he shoots, and he...
Okay, well, as you all may know, soccer is a very popular sport, especially in Latin America.
That's right. And your favorite team, Ecuador, are they really this good in soccer? Are they really going to win the 2022 Cup?
Well, maybe not. Well, actually, Ecuador has improved with time, but usually it's the strong teams like Argentina and Brazil who dominate the region, right?
Right.
But yeah, hopefully we'll make it next time.
Okay, well, I have my money on Ecuador and
for 2022.
But yeah, not on Canada. There's no hope for us.
Well, Canada is doing really well now. They actually beat Mexico, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, actually, that sort of, yeah, I kind of remember that now. But I think there's no hope for us to beat Brazil or Argentina, one of these big countries.
We have the next World Cup coming up, so it's really exciting, and I don't know who's going to win.
All right, well, listeners, who do you think is going to win? Who is the best soccer team out there?
Right. There are really good soccer teams, although some countries aren't really known for their soccer, like Russia. You don't really hear too much soccer from Russia.
Really?
Or from China, is for that.
I wonder how popular it is in these countries.
So let us know. Come to our website, englishpod.com. Tell us how popular soccer is in your country, or what team you are a fan of. I know many people like the European Cups and they're fans of Barcelona or the Italian teams.
Well, come to the website. Marco and I are always around to answer your questions. And until next time, goodbye.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. Wingman. On the brink. Tide. Kickoff. Throw in.
No question about it. By a mile. Foul. Penalty kick. Goal kick. Corner kick. Out of bounds. Offside. Goalkeeper. Defender. Match. Pitch. Championship.
Let's try that faster.
Kickoff. Defender. Goal kick. On the brink. Wingman. Penalty kick. Championship. Offside. Goalkeeper. No question about it. Out of bounds. Match. Tied. By a mile. Pitch. Throw in. Foul. Corner kick.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
On the brink. Look, we don't have any money. We're on the brink of going bankrupt. On the brink. The two countries are on the brink of war. On the brink. We are on the brink of an important discovery. No question about it. No question about it, Ecuador has a great soccer team. No question about it. There's absolutely no question about it. That was the best game of the series. No question about it. There's no question about it. We're in a recession now. By a mile. He missed the goal by a mile. By a mile. No, that's wrong. You're off by a mile. By a mile. The competition is ahead of us by a mile. We tied the game at 3-3. What an amazing game. It's a tie. We're tied for first place. Foul. Hey ref, that was a foul. Foul. Did you see that? Delgado fouled him as he tried to take a shot. Foul. The Brazilian player has several fouls.